It's like the hot dog eating contest. You're the winner.
This will make a great Christmas game, huh, with the family.
Yeah.
Which ones of these are real?
Yeah.
Michael, after Christmas.
Yeah. Welcome to this week's episode of AI Because podcast. And we do have a new member. I know when you guys hopped on, you made a comment about it. So this is Kai, and we're going to give you a little bit of background on Kai. Michael gave Kai his name. Michael, what was your thinking around naming Kai?
It just came out. All what I liked was it was K and AI. So it came out that way. I felt like it was the perfect name.
I love it. And Kai likes it too. So what we're trying to do is, and Michael started this, is create the functionality on our website. So a lot of people now want, and Kai is a voice agent, voice AI. And so we'll hear from him a little bit. We don't have the functionality right now that Kai can join a Zoom as an animated live background Kai. But we're going to show you a quick video in a minute so we can engage with Kai. And then also some motion stuff that we're doing. But Kai is our AI assistant hero. So, our little mascot, if you will. And it's just, he does make me smile when I see him. I know, Greg, when you hopped on, you're like, oh my gosh, Kai's here. So we're going to start us off. We'll go around the room, and Kai may have an update to share with us too, but we'll go around the room and hear what's happening. So Michael, I know you're in the DR right now, Dominican Republic. So what's happening in your world with the AI space and what you've been working on?
Not much. It just
starts with that. It always starts with not much. And then he fills it in with all this stuff, right? It's like when you ask somebody, hey, what do you have any thoughts about that? Nope. And then boom, they start filling in with thoughts.
Write a whole book.
Right, for the next 20 minutes.
Yeah. Go ahead, Michael.
No, honestly, not much. I was just playing with Kai and how we can we're not only limited by a human feature where we can create an avatar that has to be human, but it can also be playful.
Yes.
And be interesting, right? So, and that's how Kai came up on board on our meeting today.
I love it. We can share a quick motion thing because I know you were playing with Kai and CapCut. So let's take a look at what Michael's done. And Michael, the platform you used was CapCut, right?
So yes, I was playing with CapCut because I'm in the Dominican Republic and I start using CapCut, taking pictures, playing around with video and doing a few things. And as I was navigating CapCut, I found some new features. So I thought I would play with it. And literally, I was with a group of friends, and for a few minutes, I would say not seconds, few minutes, I kind of disconnected, and I was playing with this, and I thought, what if I can go ahead and use our Kai, our new guy, Kai, and I start animating it, and I start doing the lip syncing and do all the text that I transcribed to it. And it was very interesting. So here we go.
Oh, cool. So let's take a look.
Hi there. My name's Kai, your virtual guide here at AI Cloud Strategists. Welcome. We're an innovative AI-focused agency dedicated to helping businesses like yours thrive in a rapidly evolving world. Our mission? To empower you with tailored AI and cloud solutions that boost efficiency, scalability, and results. Whether you're exploring AI for the first time or looking to refine your strategy, we've got you covered. From automating workflows and building custom applications to delivering actionable insights, we specialize in solutions that are as unique as your business. Here at AI Cloud Strategists, we pride ourselves on a collaborative, client-first approach. Think of us as your partner in unlocking new opportunities and making smarter decisions. So, how can we help you today? Are you ready to discover how our solutions can elevate your business? I'd be happy to share insights or even schedule a free consultation with one of our experts.
This is so freaking cool. And
Cool, yeah.
when I think about small, medium-sized businesses, right,
Yeah.
is this is an interface into, other people. So it can be a static thing because in this situation, Kai has a very scripted narrative. So you're not really engaging with Kai, you're experiencing Kai. What do you guys think?
Keep in mind, this is just the start. This is
Yeah.
like the technology is, still so much tweaks and so much improvement. And so we're in the beginning.
No, I agree. I
It's a
love
great
it.
start. Great start.
I love
That
it.
is.
Manoj, what's going on with you? And you're
Yeah,
you're in
I am
India.
still in
We
India.
are like scattered.
Still in India, that's right. I mean, I mentioned in one of the previous episodes that one of the fun parts of my job is using AI to create social media posts for my other company, Risk Spotlight. And one of the series we are running is, like taking a famous personality, and if they were head of operational risk, then, how would they act differently? And something I published last week, which is getting a lot of attention right now. So we have like about 6,500, 7,000 views in a couple of days. And that is Elon Musk. That what if Elon Musk was the head of operational risk? And then I just finished, so this will go live tomorrow. Is Sun Tzu, the Art of War author.
Ooh.
What if he was a head of risk at a large bank? Then how would the risk management strategy would? So that's the fun part. I have
Nice.
some
The
time, and
reason what I love about it is that chat can help you, or OpenAI can help you. Claude could probably do the same thing, figure out what are those nuances and be able to craft all that stuff because you might have some idea when you go through it, but I love the fact that it's almost like taking, what if so-and-so, Tony Robbins or Donald Trump was your copywriter, right? What would that be like? What kind of tone would you have? And so we could guess, but I love that AI can help you put a little bit more reality in the artificial intelligence world. Yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah. It's a great example of getting engagement in your marketing.
Yeah,
So that sort of is where we can help our customers along similar lines. Because you don't want to just post about your products and services all the time. People get tired. If you're just
yeah,
posting. So you need to post about something which is informative, something which is entertaining, but still connected with your business. And that's where AI can be like your perfect partner in terms of creativity, getting those ideas, creating the scripts, creating the images and the videos.
yeah.
Which without AI, I would never be able to do that. So it's something which we would not have done without AI is now possible in like 30, 40 minutes of effort.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Greg,
Yeah.
how about
You
you?
have
What's
your own
happening in your
personal.
world? Huh?
You have your own personal copywriter.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I took advantage of the Black Friday week and subscribed to a lot of stuff that I've got a pretty big list here now, but kind of focusing in on AI agents and chatbots, interactive chatbots, and looking at how we can personalize those and customize those for individual needs and for businesses. But kind of the news this week is OpenAI is having their 12 days of Christmas, and kind of encourage everybody to keep an eye out on the news feeds for what they're coming out with. I mean, we have the big one, I guess the 4.0 Pro is sounding pretty impressive with even deeper thinking. And then maybe not quite so much for everybody in our audience, but the idea of the fine tuning that came out the following day for really, really, digging deep into research for more university use and academic use. I think that's pretty phenomenal where this could lead to. So again, keep a ears out for the daily releases on OpenAI. I think it's going to be really amazing what's coming up before the end of the year.
It's even better than the Costco one. The Costco has 12 days of
Well,
and Greg, make sure you hide the next credit card statement from your partner.
Right.
Oh, that's funny. Steve, how about you?
So I have been doing two things lately. I've been starting to use Grok AI. And it's kind of
Yes.
fascinating. Basically, Grok has three key differences from like, for example, a general purpose model like OpenAI's ChatGPT 4.0, right? The key differences are it's mostly based on logic. So logic and problem solving, like things like coding, right? As opposed to general purpose, which is, so it really makes it more like ChatGPT 0.1, right? Which is focused on complex problems.
Mhm.
That's one thing. A second thing that makes it unique is that it's trained with all the X data, right? So Twitter, right? Twitter is now X. And so no one else is allowed to train with all that data except for Grok, because Elon owns both companies, right? And then the third thing that makes it more interesting is that all the other AIs have been mostly trained from a human perspective, right? To think about things and talk about things that we're conversing with them more like a human and more to relate to us. Whereas Grok is more meant to be objective in a non-human perspective. So more empirical as and less emotional and less like taking our perspective.
Yeah.
So those were the three key things I noted, and I think what's relevant to people that might be listening to this podcast is if you don't pay for a ChatGPT Pro subscription, then Grok is actually free right now.
Yeah.
Grok is free. And so it's the only model right now it's focused on logic and coding that actually you don't have to pay for.
What's the name? Where did the name come from? Because it feels like what is it? The Gladiators of the Galaxy? What is that movie?
Yeah, it's a great question.
Groot
That's a
and
really good
like all
question.
that stuff. It feels like one of those characters from that movie.
Yeah.
It
Yeah, and
seems like
I
it's
don't
from
know. I'll
Mars.
find out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it is interesting because watch for this to come on strong. Even though Grok is a newcomer and a lot of people may not have heard of it. Elon Musk, they have just built the largest AI supercomputer to train the the chat on, right? The AI on. So expect much bigger things from them going forward. And literally after only about a year at this game, they're already in their I think they raised some money recently and they're valued at 50 billion.
Oh, is that
And
all?
yeah,
How about
so
you guys? Has anybody else used Grok
I have not yet.
at all? Okay.
the
Yeah.
other I would say, the other interesting thing that I find out about Elon also co-founded OpenAI. Most people don't realize that he
gave it the
that he was a
name.
co-founder. Yeah, he was early to that game, right? So he's not actually a latecomer, so to speak.
Well,
in
he's usually blazing trails that no one else even
That's
sees
exactly
as a
right.
trail. It's like
Yeah.
you
Yep.
can't go
Yeah.
through there, and he's like, "Yeah, watch me."
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
might-
Pretty impressive, right?
Yeah,
You
he
got
might
to
have.
say between Tesla, between SpaceX, and then he's got X, and then now Grok. So and then that's not to say anything about he's got a tunnel digging company, boring. So he's like really going in a lot of different directions, but he
Okay.
seems
And
to be
this is
doing well.
not a commercial to promote him.
No, it's not intended to
So,
be.
I mean, I know you're a fan. I know you're a
Yeah.
fan.
No, I would say I'm impressed. I would say for all he's done, it's pretty amazing.
Oh, yeah. Hands
Yeah.
down. Hands
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
So it would be cool to kind of hear from Kai. So to see what Kai's been up to since Kai was developed. So good morning, Kai.
Good morning. How's your day going so far?
Well, I'm pretty freaking good. How about yours?
I'm doing great, thanks. What's on your mind today?
Well, we're doing a roundtable on the AI Because podcast, and I wanted to check in with you and find out what's been happening with you this week.
That sounds interesting. While I can't share personal updates, I can help with insights on AI trends or anything related to your podcast. What specific topics are you focusing on?
Well, Well, whatever the most recent stuff is in the Gen AI space, because our audience is small to medium-sized businesses.
Absolutely. A big trend is the rise of generative AI tools for content creation and customer engagement. Many small businesses are using these tools to streamline operations and enhance marketing efforts. What aspect of generative AI are you most interested in exploring?
I'm going to ask Manoj. Manoj, what aspect of generative AI are we interested in exploring?
Well, can AI help in terms of revenue generation? Then what would be the typical use cases where AI can be deployed for generating revenue?
Okay.
Sure. I can be used in sales forecasting, personalized marketing, and content creation for advertising. These help businesses reach more customers and boost revenue. Do you want to dive deeper into any of these areas?
Probably not right now.
Yeah.
Greg, do you have a follow-up question for Kai?
Not really, but since we're getting into the festive season, I was just checking in if you had any vacation plans.
I don't take vacations, but I'm here to help you anytime. Do you have any special plans for the festive season?
Just looking for a beach and sunshine, so I'll catch up with you a little bit later on that, perhaps.
That sounds lovely. A beach getaway is always refreshing. Do you have a specific destination in mind?
Just somewhere temperate. I'm from Canada, so there are a lot of appealing places on my mind right now.
That makes sense. A temperate spot sounds perfect for a break from the cold. Are you thinking about traveling within Canada or somewhere else?
Definitely somewhere else at this time of year.
Kai, he likes to swim with the sharks and goes kayaking in the moonlight. Are there any recommendations?
Both activities sound amazing. For swimming with sharks, places like the Bahamas or Hawaii are great options. For kayaking in the moonlight, you might enjoy locations like California or Florida.
Awesome. I have another question for you, Kai, because you're the AI assistant for AI Cloud Strategists. What recommendations do you have for small to medium-sized businesses based on what's trending?
Small to medium-sized businesses should consider adopting cloud-based tools for flexibility and scalability. Also, incorporating generative AI for content marketing and customer service can enhance engagement. Would you like more details on any of these?
Well, I'm wondering if people are interested in following up, what do they do? Can they schedule time with one of us?
Absolutely. Interested folks can schedule a free consultation to discuss their needs. Would you like me to guide you on how to set that up?
Not right now, but I appreciate you chatting with us, Kai, and I can't wait to do more next time.
I enjoyed our chat too. Looking forward to next time.
Bye, Kai.
Thank you, Kai.
You're welcome. Bye.
Cool. Okay. We've got our
Wasn't that
first
cool?
AI assistant.
So he's alive
Mhm.
and kicking.
Kai is
Alive and well.
Kai is
Yeah.
alive. So what's cool about Kai's functionality, and we'll show you in a minute just a quick thing of how he was set up, is that we're able to provide background knowledge for Kai on whatever your business is. And because Kai is not just, we didn't limit Kai to just the knowledge that we provided him. You could see when he was engaging with Greg, he could go into the internet and make recommendations with, swimming with sharks in the Bahamas. So you can limit into just the knowledge that you provide, but we wanted Kai to be a little bit more friendly and playful. So yeah. So I know for a lot of you guys, the first time that you've seen Kai in the background, what are your thoughts?
I just want to add something else as well with this feature that we just demonstrated now. You can train it to create reports on the conversation about beach and getting away, and at the same time to always recoup back again and refocus on the conversation or the closing or the endpoint or what's the goal with the client. So, and that's valuable.
Yeah.
Totally agree. Yeah, because then all of a sudden you don't have someone going down rabbit holes. You can pull them back in to what almost like having a train closer. It's like, we're going to bring you back to what your ultimate goal is. And we set that up. Yeah. Other thoughts?
Yeah, and I think it's early days, right? So it only gets better from this point, because you can imagine that anything which requires a interaction, that if your customers are sending you email or they're calling you to inquire about your product or complain about your product, that any of those interfaces in the future will be very much like what we saw with Kai today, with the advantage that your Kai will then have all your knowledge. So if you're calling about a recent product you bought, it'll have that history. You would not have to go and explain all that to it again. And then it will be able to interact in multiple languages. So if somebody's calling in Spanish, it'll be able to talk in Spanish. If somebody's calling in French, it'll be able to talk in French, and it'll be available 24/7. So I see. I mean, something like this, is going to replace the customer interaction, and it's only going to get better.
Well,
go ahead, Steve.
I was just going to say, one of the strengths of these kinds of, agents, if you will, is that you don't have to give them every imaginable situation, right? So, it's not like if X, then Y, right? And you don't have to define all these rules. That's what's a beautiful thing about this, is that you just give them general instructions and tell them what they're being optimized for, and give them all the information they need to understand products and things. And then they will fill in the lines, so such that such that it's just easier to train them.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
Totally agree. What I love about it is one of the challenges that businesses in our target audience have, and I know I've talked to my daughter about it a lot, is they'll spend money on marketing on stuff, and then the volume will come in. And because a lot of times these are owners that are working in the business and not on the business. So they're not there to answer the phone when it rings. They're not there to respond to the call when it comes in. And this gives you that contact point to where you can collect some information to be able to follow up with somebody, where in the past, the phone just rang off the hook or went to voicemail and you may not be able to get back. So I think this is a critical thing, especially when we're dealing with owners, and you've got owners in medium-sized businesses that are working in the business and aren't taking those calls or be able to answer that stuff. So yeah, I think it's huge. Any other thoughts?
Now you can scale. Now you can scale with a tool like this.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, even in a medium-sized or small-sized business, I mean, onboarding can take up a huge amount of time. And so if you've got a new hire that can take advantage of interacting with someone like Kai, it will expand their knowledge of your company very, very quickly with a lot of ease. And I really can see a lot of value there.
It's interesting you say that. And I think it takes it because we're all different humans. And so when I think about Copilot functionality or Notebook LM functionality, right, where you've got a library of knowledge, let's say, right? Copilots on the SharePoint stuff, Notebook LM with whatever you've uploaded into what they're connected to. Instead of just typing in or talking in to engage like that with, it's very one-dimensional. With Kai, you could have someone like Kai sitting on that information and engage in a completely different way. And so I think from an employee perspective, like Greg, when you're onboarding and stuff, you've got a different level of engagement with people. And I just think it's powerful stuff.
Yeah. And I was talking to a business owner yesterday. So they have 6 employees and 2 co-founders. And when we went through all the use cases, the top use case where he wanted to use AI was to get him out of the day-to-day interactions, because the staff is asking questions all the time. So he would like AI to be the first point and maybe answer 50-60% of the questions. And then only if the AI clone of him is not able to answer, then he gets involved, so that he gets more time to grow the business. That right now, both the partners are just busy dealing with the day-to-day interactions. And that was, and something like this, where both partners can then
Oh.
create a clone, which will have their own personality, their own knowledge, that even if it can handle 50% of the requests from the staff, but I think it can do more, but even with 50%,
Well, I was
they'll
going to say,
have so much more time.
you don't need two separate voice assistants. You can have one that has all the knowledge of
Combined
both of
knowledge.
them. Yeah.
Yes.
So it's like, here's our founder, old ancient Jim. Ancient Jim knows all the answers. But yeah, you could do something like that. And I just think it's so cool. So let's take a peek at just it's a short, I think 2-minute video on basically the creation of Kai. We're naming him Kai, right? And we're doing all caps because it's
Yep.
K, and then Kai is AI. We want a voice.
Correct, yeah.
So it's going to be Kai's male.
Oh yes, the deep sea, nature's basement.
That doesn't sound like Kai.
Not the voice Michael was using, that's for
Very
sure.
specific customer with your content, otherwise it won't resonate.
How's that?
You need to address a very specific customer with your content, otherwise it won't resonate.
That's kind of interesting. It's kind
Yeah.
of, what about Michael stuff a little bit
Let's
higher?
try that one. Upload an
Okay.
image. Okay, this looks okay. Okay, public. So we use chat to help us fill in this information. So
What
that's
can
what
I
I'm
do?
doing now.
What can I do to help you today?
Yeah, I like that. So we made changes and edits to the script. This is the agent prompt. So we're going to go back to chat. And this is where we made him friendly. Sufficient. No, it's friendly. Professional and friendly.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we just
Play.ai.
Okay, yeah. Attentive and a sense of humor. Adapt your tone. So these are just edits that we made to the script that chat. Maintain a knowledgeable, friendly. Okay. And we said professional.
Yes.
Okay. Custom knowledge. Okay. So this was the uploaded files. So we uploaded the knowledge that we had.
And look how efficient you are at it.
Thank you, Greg. Okay. So embed, this is the code to embed in our website. We're going to create. All right. So that was it. And we spliced it. So Greg made the comment that I was pretty efficient at it because that was actually the second time we ran through it. Because when we went out to have chat help us create all the narrative, right? All the feedback that we wanted to be able to set up the voice agent in Play.ai, we had knowledge and background. It didn't save everything that we did. So if you go in to set this up, have all that stuff ready already. Yeah. Because when we went back out, we had to go back in again. We were super efficient the second time around. So there's an upside. But yeah, but is to your point, Michael, is that there's so much that we can give to the background. Manoj, what you were talking about is we took knowledge because Michael had done a first pass at this before and shared it with the group. We took that knowledge, then we added some stuff to it. We wanted friendly and approachable and all that. And I think we experienced that with Kai when we were interacting with Kai. And so the thing is, play with it, get some experience with it. It is play.ai, play.ai. Super intuitive. to do it. So anyway, what are your thoughts, guys? What would you add to it?
No, I think we should all try it, right? Now that you've given us the path, and if it is that easy, I'm gonna go and play with it.
Yes.
Yeah, you showed the basics, right? You know, give it all the knowledge, any knowledge files that you have that you want it to know. If there's any constraints, you give it constraints, right? Yeah. So
Yeah, we
Um,
didn't set the phone number. The free account gives you 30 minutes of engaging with your
Yeah.
voice assistant. And so we're still well within that right now. Clearly, on a larger scale with a business, you're going to need to go into, a paid plan. But right now, for our purposes, and you've got the code to embed into your website. So we're going to be doing that. But think about that. There's also phone numbers that, you can connect with to have people engage. We skipped over that part. We're not doing that right now. But there's a lot of different functionality that you can do. But the thing is, the free version, you can play with it to get it responding the way that you want to respond before you release it on a larger scale.
I think what I want to add to this is all these features and all these capabilities with AI lets you focus in more on what do you want the output to be. So, and from that makes you dig in more into what information I want it to be feeding that AI. So when it's having a conversation either with a client of mine or maybe with the partners like we did today, what information I want it to be giving, and if the more I can construct build it or construct it the right way in terms of policies, in terms of procedures, in terms of the way and the tone, the way of acting, and from what aspect or perspective I want it to behave and act, the more I can dig deep in, the more the output will be.
Yeah, it's fine tuning. Yeah, it's fine tuning. And I think that's where we call it playing with it, but it's engaging with and iterating on what the outputs that you are. And like you all have said before, this is the worst it's gonna be.
Yeah.
And it was pretty freaking cool at the worst it's gonna be. Yeah. Manoj, you're gonna share Copilot with us, something on that, and then I'll wrap us up with headshot stuff, which is kind of cool too. So it's all you, sir.
Okay, so what I want to do today is show you a quick example of how do we use Microsoft Copilot in Microsoft Word to write a standard operating procedure. So a lot of small businesses, because we're doing so many things all the time, we generally don't have time to write our operating procedures in as detail as we would like them to be. And that's where tools like Microsoft Copilot can be very handy. So I'm going to use our same example, Cambria Crumbs, the bakery example. And in this case, we'll assume that we want to write the standard operating procedure for the process where the bakery takes corporate orders. So if there's like a big corporate event, then the bakery takes those orders. So what are the different things different departments and team members have to do is what we want to document in the standard operating procedure. So I'm logged into Word here, and you can see there is the Copilot option is available up here. So I will start this Copilot by first just setting the scene on writing this procedure. So I'm going to say, imagine you're an expert at writing standard operating procedure for a bakery. Help me write the SOP for this process. So the process is process orders for corporate events. And then I give some instructions that I want, to have a professional tone. I want the language should be easy to understand. So, somebody should not need a lot of knowledge about a bakery business to be able to understand the standard operating procedure. So I just give some generic instructions about writing the SOP first. So if I submit this, then what it'll do is it'll look at those instructions and it'll say, yes, I understand the instructions. And it is now ready to start writing the standard operating procedure. So this first prompt was just to set the scene. It's not writing the operating procedure yet. So I will say, okay, let's keep it. And then what I want to do is write one chapter of that standard operating procedure at a time, because this is one of the prompt engineering principle that you don't want to write the whole document with one prompt. You want to break it down into different prompts. So what I want to do is first write the introduction section of the standard operating procedure. So I just copy and paste the context that, okay, what do I want to cover? So I want it to then write the purpose of this SOP, and I want it to write the scope of this SOP. And I have given enough context about that process that rather than me writing all that from scratch, I want Copilot to write the first version, and then I can, sort of edit it. So the idea is that Copilot and tools like this, they give you a 60-70% head start, because without Copilot, you will have to, write this document from scratch. So in this case, if I say, okay, let's keep this particular section, then you can you can get help to write the second section. So if I take the second section is around the roles and responsibilities of who's going to be doing what as part of this standard operating procedure. We can submit that, and then it'll go and write the different departments and things who then get involved in that process where we get a big order from a corporate customer at our bakery to deliver some products. So it'll then go and write the different departments and what are their responsibilities. And then, of course, you can then take this and then tweak it to whatever your departments are called internally, and then update some of the language. So it's giving you that 60-70% head start on what content is typically covered in this type of a standard operating procedure. So those two are the initial sections, which are generic, but then you go into the actual activity of the process. So this is where we say that, okay, now write the detail of the first process or the first activity in this process, which is where we do an order intake. So a corporate customer actually calls us or emails us or goes to the website and inquires about the products they want for one of their events. And what I'm saying here is that I also want it to document for the different activities, what are the key deliverables, the key performance indicators, and also document the risks, that what can go wrong in that process, and then what can be done to mitigate, to make sure those risks do not happen. So if I submit this, you'll be able to see the output. So in this case, the first activity is initial contact with the customer. And then it's saying that, okay, these are the two deliverables that we need to, promptly respond to our customer. And we need to capture whatever the customer is requesting correctly and accurately, so that we don't have any misunderstanding later in terms of the customer requirements. The two key KPIs are response time with our customer and client satisfaction. And these are the two risks that can happen in that first activity, that, an order comes in and then the customer doesn't hear from us for 3 or 4 days, and that is not good for our customer satisfaction, or we capture the information incorrectly. So it's then documenting what are the different outputs which get delivered in each activity of that process. It's documenting the KPIs you can use to measure the effectiveness of this particular activity and the typical risks you need to keep an eye on. And it does that for all the activities in that first part of the process. So you can click on keep it, and I'll just do it for 2 more activities, and then we will pause and we can discuss. So if I take, so after the order intake, the second activity in this case is order confirmation. So we then go back to the customer and make sure we correctly understand what the customer requires. If we need to give any clarification, we need to give that clarification. So in this case, yeah, we get a confirmed order from the customer. So if I submit this, then it'll go and write the same level of detail for each of the activity in this order confirmation process. So contract signing is one of the activities here. And then we enter that order so that whenever the cakes or the croissants need to be created, the order is there in the system. And then somebody, will know that, okay, this order is coming in the future. And the last one I want to show is the actual preparation part. So that's where then the products actually get baked. So in this case, I provide the details of that preparation stage, and then the different activities we do, and then same sort of request to document the details. So it'll then go and say that, okay, we need to schedule, because if this order is for like 1 month from now, so we need to put it on the schedule. So it'll then do the deliverables and the KPIs. Then we may have to procure the ingredients. If it's a big order for 800 and we don't have the raw material, then we may have to go and get the raw material to bake the products. And then the actual baking and assembly happens. And then and that sort of is the end of this particular process where we actually bake whatever products the customer has ordered. And this is what then I can continue, that if there were 7 or 8 different activities which are performed as part of this process, I can go and provide the context of each of those activities, and then Copilot can write the 60-70% starting point, and then I can type the remaining 30% or update it. So then it gets fine-tuned and customized for the standard operating procedure of our bakery.
You know, it's interesting because Manoj, you're the risk guy. But as a typical SOP, this doesn't flow necessarily like one, but I think there is stuff that's being called out when I think about people that typically start business. They do it because there's something that they're really good at and they love doing. And typically it's not because they're awesome at running a business. But they love that thing that they're doing. What I love about this is it's calling out aspects that for people to consider. Like there's a lot of organizations, humans that don't understand KPI or even think about, establishing a KPIs. I don't know how to measure it. But I think from an educational standpoint, let's say you're a manager or a supervisor around this, it's going to give you buckets of thinking that otherwise you may have overlooked. So I think as a thought partner and to be able to get exposed to other things, it's pretty freaking cool.
Yeah. And it was a simple examples, of course, in real life.
Yeah.
Be a lot more.
Yeah.
There'll be a lot more steps in terms of writing that, and then of course there will be a process diagram which explains the different activities. Yeah, absolutely.
But it's cool stuff. I think what I love most is because I've been supporting a group of business owners through Small Business Administration leadership development program they have. So we're wrapping up, and tomorrow we actually have our graduation. They presented capstones last week. That business owners, while going in person and coming together and doing all that stuff in a cohort is great. This is another resource for people to have, that they're not having to pay an hourly fee to someone to get a consult and some, guidance, a little bit more information, fine tuning of stuff. And so I think it's terribly powerful.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Thank
so that's
you.
the example. And then, if you want to train your team on Microsoft Copilot, then we do deliver a 3-hour course where we can cover the specific use cases that can add value into your organization. So please do get in touch with us if you're interested in delivering that to your team.
Yeah, the thing I would add on that is that, and I think you mentioned it, but just highlight, it's customizable. So if there is an area that you want to drill down, that's where the time can be spent. And so I think it's cool, and it can be a virtual delivery. So it doesn't matter that, I'm in California, or Manoj is in India, or Marco's in the DR right now, or Greg's freezing in Canada and trying to get some other place to go that's warmer. The virtual delivery, it just expands the ability to basically meet you where you're at.
Absolutely.
I love it. I love it.
And also with Copilot, what I like about it, you can build an ecosystem where you can put all your procedures, your policies, your SOPs, everything in it, and still use AI.
Well, and you can tap into because it's sitting on Microsoft and it's tapping into your shared drive, you can literally just use the content and the knowledge that you have already. And so you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You can start off with what you currently have. And I'm going to tell you, it's going to be a whole lot more than what you imagine. Because I think people don't realize, because right now it's not intuitive, or, if you've got stuff on a shared drive, try and query it. At least now you'll be able to query it. Yeah, exactly. And that's been the biggest challenge in knowledge management, and being able to have someone that's, curating it, bringing it all together, it is more than a full-time job, and I have yet to have an organization that's successful. It's like, oh, we can tag it, we can do whatever. I mean, I was on Kaizen process improvement events that we were trying to figure out knowledge management across the improvement team for, a $13 billion organization. And we couldn't crack that nut, but yet this is cracking that nut. It's huge.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, stop
Thank
there.
Last place I'll go, and it was kind of a fun thing. I wanted other headshots for me, and so I went on a platform called Aragon.ai, Aragon.ai, and created some, and then did not record the process with you all because there is a little bit more time involved. And so Greg and Michael, I went in. So I'll show you the recording of Greg's and give you some cautions about what not to do so you don't repeat part of what I did. I did a recording of going in and doing headshots with Greg. Like I said, the platform is Aragon.ai, Aragon. It's not free to create the headshots, but it's super inexpensive. So let's watch it and we'll come back together. We're going to start off. We're going to go with, so we're in Aragon.ai, Aragon.ai, and we're going to go in to do professional headshots. We're doing it for Greg this time, and so we're selecting man. We'll do that age range. Hair is, we'll go gray. It is short, white, Caucasian, regular build. We can do a lot of attires, so I'm thinking business professional, but then also smart casual for him. Actually, let's just do all of them. So we're going to do professional, business casual, and smart casual because it generates a lot of headshots. So different backgrounds. So the ones that I really like are like office setting. Look, it's checked in for me already. Studio's good, and city. Yeah, let's just go with what Aragon selected. Don't wear glasses. So we've got that checked. And then photo requirements. So it'll go through and tell you ones that you want to take. And obviously no revealing ones and, really weird angles. So, we don't want to see our noses. And it's going to upload these files. So it is, let's see if there's Greg. They've been uploaded. You can see all of them there. We're going to hit continue. And I need to pay. So I'm going to buy just the starter, which will give me 20 quality headshots. You can see 2-hour processing time. So if you want more money, pay more money, then you can get it. So anyway, we're going to select this one. So they're celebrating because I got a discount. It's like the Friends discount or something. All right, so it goes through and it's verifying the photos. So you can see these are the ones that it didn't take. And so it'll look at the quality of the photo. Clearly, if there's other people in it that discarded it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I need 6 to 10 to continue. So I've got to do some work on these photos before I can continue. So there's the grainy. You see how grainy that was? And so it's enhanced him a little too much. But we can give it a shot and see if it'll do it for what we want, because we want to be able to get 6, because Aragon will not let us move forward unless we have 6 images. So let's see. This is the one that we just downloaded. We'll see if. So I used Remini, R-E-M-I. Okay, so it accepted it. So we have 6. Yay, we have 6. Okay, so now we can continue. So we're going to check all this stuff to make sure it's right. So we checked everything. He doesn't have long hair. And so we're going to check this box. I'm all set. Information's accurate. I want professional headshots. We do want professional. We're not doing Christmas, even though it's that time of year. So it's working. It takes them probably an hour or so to process. And so we'll come back and check on it. It's kind of like when the cake is baking. We're here. But a lot of them don't look like age appropriate. And it's interesting because the photos we uploaded were good. I think it was just that one that kind of threw it off. That one looks like a little bit more like him. So anyway, you've got some options here. I think maybe going back, the eyes are the same on this one. Going back, I would not like enhance that one. That's the thing I'm thinking of. Because it changed like too much. This one kind of looks a little bit. Anyway, that's what I'm thinking. But the thing is, you've got a lot of options here. So do ones that are current with what you look like. I think that one threw it off a little bit. Anyway, but just it's a cool option for relatively inexpensive. And interesting stuff. And I think that one, so here's a caution, right? The one, because I use Remini, R-E-M-I-N-I, to get rid of the grain, but Remini just made him years younger. Took years off your life, Greg.
I'm okay with that. Yeah.
Greg is happy.
Yeah.
It's like it was like going in a time machine. So, but here's the caution. Because of that, it put a different age range in the mix, right? Because we had that pretty big gap of age. I mean, that was 14, 15 years. So that's the caution I would do. Let me show you something real quick with Michael. Okay, so we're going to go in and take a look at Michael. So I did the same thing with Michael. The recording didn't go so well. And here's the other difference that I did, because I realized with Aragon that you saw before I put it in normal, right? And so the range, there's a range that it's looking at. And so normal was super thin to, normal. And so if you were not super thin to normal, it could have you come off anorexic at some point, or at least, hey, I just got done, fasting for 2 weeks. With Michael, even though Michael's not large, that was the next option up. So with him, I selected large, and you'll see the differences in this, right? So Michael here is like definitely a little puffy, right, on this one. But if you go through it, this first one here is Michael. Michael, what do you think?
Yeah, that was one of the good ones that I liked.
So it's asking me for feedback. But there's others that seriously, like this one here on the right, Michael, that's you. This one here on the left, that's not you unless you fast Thanksgiving feast. So,
or he's joined Avengers.
That's like 40 Thanksgiving feasts.
It's one of those things, it's a range that you're going through. And so out of all these headshots, like this one over here, Michael, on the far right, this one looks great. This one down here, the far right, one in the middle, this one on the left. I mean, we can now this one. it's like the hot dog eating contest. You're the winner.
This will make a great Christmas game, huh, with the family.
Yeah.
Which ones of these are real?
Yeah.
Michael after Christmas.
Yeah. But I mean, Michael with a goatee, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, so I can see, we can all see Michael. We can see, this one on the far right, Michael.
Yeah.
Again, this one here with the suit.
Yeah. I like that.
Michael didn't pose for any of these, but I mean,
nothing.
I think the learning and nuances is play with it. Because the photos that I uploaded for Michael, there were a number of them, and I had scaled back to 10. But we're all within a certain time frame, and the quality was good, so I didn't have to do any updates to them. but look at all these images. I mean, that's a lot.
A lot.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think?
Yeah, and
Impressive.
definitely I think there are many which can be used, right? So yeah,
Yeah.
I mean there's some which are way
Yeah.
but compared to the cost of going to a studio and getting all this done professionally.
Right.
Well, and changing all the different outfits.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How much shopping Michael will
Right.
have to
Saves, it's a huge time savings. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I just think when you're talking about small to medium-sized businesses, I know with me, you know, I went and did some are like, okay, I'm not 40 anymore, and it made me look that way. But I think it's the flexibility to go, okay, I don't have this one headshot that I had done everywhere. I can have flexibility. So maybe there is, you know, on my podcast is one headshot, and then, you know, Better Possibilities is another headshot, so that we've got a way to distinguish from, you know, maybe the different offerings or the different stuff that we're involved in. So and it's just a super affordable, you know, Michael's, I got, you know, a 10% discount or whatever. And so even if you paid $35, $35 to
It's
upload
valuable.
existing pictures that you have, to be able to do that. And then Remini, the platform that I use to get rid of the grainy stuff, what I liked about that, it's similar to Topaz Labs. Topaz Labs has a higher entry point dollar-wise. There's a lot more functionality. Remini's by the week. So literally you could just pay for 1 week and do edits that you wanted, and you're done. You don't have to pay again. So anyway, thoughts, guys, on that?
Yeah, and I think it like
Great.
every AI technology, it only gets better from here, right? So
True.
Right.
yeah, I mean so many possibilities.
We got
So-
the
So
spark in
thank
the
you. This has been
circuits
AI
now.
because I
Let me
love all these
listen, we'll
topics that
show
we're
you
doing.
how.
And until
A
next
new
time,
wave
I can't wait to
rising,
chat
it's
with you guys
clear
again.
and loud.
All right.
Thank you.
AI's the future.
Bye, everyone.
Let's
Take
make
care.
you
Bye.
proud. Data and dreams combined in the air. From cloud to code, oh, we're everywhere. Innovation driving, we're breaking ground. With AI tools, let's turn it around. AI become a use. We're powering your moves. Tech that's here for good, bringing all the moods. Ooh.